Hey guys, it's David here from phonebuff.com, and in this video I'll be comparing iOS Siri to Android's voice actions to Microsoft Windows Phone's Tellme service. And basically I'm just going to be running a few tests to determine which one works the best, and at the end of each test I'll let you know which phone worked or which phones worked and which phone did not. So with that said, let's go ahead and run the tests. So I have to press the Android phone first because it doesn't have a button that I can press and hold to activate voice command where these two do. So I'll go ahead and do that and run our first test. So I'm going to ask the phone for weather. Weather.
Looks like nice weather coming up.
Alright, so you can see that the iPhone and Siri loaded up the weather perfectly on here. On Android, it loaded up perfectly as well, and it loaded up perfectly on Windows Phone as well. So don't take in the speed into consideration here because this Windows Phone is only running a single core 1 GHz processor, so it's definitely more of a dated phone than these two guys, which reflect the newer, higher end devices available on each platform. So for right now, all three worked, and let's go to the next test. So in this test, I will ask the phone for movies. Movies.
I found 11 movie theaters. 4 of them are fairly close to you.
Alright, so looks like the iPhone again, it worked perfectly. Android again worked perfectly, giving me my theaters just like the iPhone did. And in this case, it looks like Bing or Tellme just loaded up a local search for movies, which shows up, has one movie theater showed up, but it doesn't show all the other movie theaters, so it's not actual showtimes. So what we could do is rephrase the question on all three phones again, and this time I'll ask for movie showtimes instead of just movies. Movie showtimes.
I found 11 movie theaters. 4 of them are fairly close to you.
So same results on both the iPhone with Siri and Android with voice actions. And in this case, on Windows Phone and Tellme, it worked the way it should have the first time. And we have our movie showtimes, and we can just click on them and get the showtime for the whatever movie we're looking at. All right, so the first test with the movies, only the Android phone and the iOS phone worked, where the Microsoft Windows Phone did not. But on the second test, all three worked. So that brings me to my next test. All right, so in this next test, I'm going to ask each phone a little math question to see if they can answer them. So I'll hit this guy. 5 plus 5 plus 10.
Let me check on that. This might answer your question.
All right, so the Siri got the answer right, saying 20. Google Voice Actions got the answer right, saying 20. And the Tellme service searched 5 foot, 5 foot 10. So what I do know is that Tellme doesn't yet support anything like these two do. So in this case, iOS and Android won, where Windows Phone did not. All right, let's go to the next test, which is sending a reminder. So I'm just going to ask each phone to remind me to eat in 15 minutes. Remind me to eat in 15 minutes.
Here's your reminder.
Searching for remind me to eat.
Shall I create it?
Alright, so you can see Siri worked. It's making a reminder for me. The Android phone only did a Google search, and the Windows phone did a Bing search. So in this case, the iPhone and Siri win, and the voice actions and Tellme did not. So let's go on to the next test. Which, or actually, you know what? I'll go ahead and rephrase that question again. So instead of saying remind me to eat, I'll just say remind or set alarm in 15 minutes on every phone. So set alarm in 15 minutes.
Okay, I set it for 12:40 p.m.
All right, so in this case, it worked on Siri and on the Android phone, and it did not work on Tellme and the Windows phone. So these two tie, and this one loses. And let's go on to the next test now, which is to ask it, when was Martin Luther King born? So we'll ask each phone. When was Martin Luther King born?
Searching for
Let me check that for you.
Luther King born.
All right, so on the Android phone, we have a direct answer
Okay, here
saying
you go.
January 15th, 1929. Same thing on Siri, we got January 15th, 1929. And on the Tellme phone, our Windows phone, we only got a Bing search. And we could actually see the answer within the search results, just like you could on this Google search over here. But it's not a direct answer like you get on both Siri and Android voice actions. So I'll have to say that Siri and voice actions wins, and again, Tellme loses in this test. And then the next test I'm gonna do is asking for directions to Best Buy. So directions to Best Buy.
I found 9 places matching Best Buy. Tap the one you want directions to.
All right, so this case looks like the Android phone got the directions that I needed. Same with Siri.
Here are direct.
And the Windows phone in this case did not. So again, Android and iOS win with Siri and voice actions, and Windows phone will tell me loses in this case. So we'll go ahead and hit home on each of these devices, and we'll go to the final test. And this one kind of shows you the strength of Siri compared to the other two. And I'm just gonna say I'm drunk and see what each phone says. So I'm drunk.
Neither of us is driving
Searching
home.
for I'm drunk.
All right, so as you can see, you just got a Google search for I'm drunk on the Android phone. You got a Bing search on the Windows phone. And on the iPhone with Siri, you actually have the option to call a taxi. So
I found a number of cab companies fairly close to you.
So definitely more useful in that case. So overall, I have to say that Siri is the best of the 3 voice command systems on each OS. But, you know, Android's actually a lot closer than most people would think, because Siri tends to be, you know, a lot more glorified than Android voice actions are. But the Android voice actions for me, you know, are just as functional as Siri. I'd say overall the voice recognition is a little bit better on Siri than it is on Android. But as you can see from these tests, you know, these two phones are really close, where the Windows phone and Tellme tends to fall behind a little bit. So we'll have to see what Microsoft does in the future about that, and see how, you know, Google responds to Siri's challenge. All right, that's it for me in this video. This is Dave from phonebuff.com. Thank you for watching it, and don't forget to visit phonebuff.com for more cell phone news, reviews, and how-tos. Thank you.